And we're live. We're doing it live. We're doing it live, baby. Hello, everybody. And welcome to another fantastic episode of Roshi's Recap. Fun little podcast I love to do. I do a solo show every weekday morning at 9:30 a.m. Tune in. And we usually do weeknight shows every weeknight at 9:30 p.m. and I'm joined by my lovely wife Kimberly on those, and I am joined by her again tonight as well. Hello, Kimberly. And we'd love it if y'all would just come out and join us. And for everybody that has been coming out and watching and liking and commenting, I love you 1,000 times over for that. Across all social media platforms. And we've been seeing a lot of growth on Rumble. Thank you for that. We are building on Rumble. And we're trying to get that platform built so we can do more exclusive content over there because we don't have to worry about things as far as getting banned, saying the wrong word that can get a shadow banned or canceled, something like that.
Yes, so please crumble
Please, please,
and
please, please.
um subscribe or whatever they call it over there. They
I
have
th- I
different way they
think
call things.
I think they do subs in Rumble. I think they do the sub thing.
I know we
Um
need to get to 100 the lives over there, and our
Yeah,
goal
we're
is
really trying to build towards the 100 subs over there. So if y'all could jump on over there and give us a follow over there. Some I think they call it upvotes. I think it's kind of like set up like Reddit and everything. You do the upvotes and all
okay.
that. So if y'all want to follow us over there, that'd be great. We'd really appreciate it. We're trying to build on all platforms, and we're just bringing you a fun little podcast that um I guess you could say it's just an amalgamation of things. Really, it's a pod. It's like the Seinfeld show. It's a podcast about nothing. No. Uh, we're gonna cover topics and things that we want to discuss and that we find interesting. And yeah, eventually we're gonna have guests on. Like I said, we keep seeing the growth and the love that we got, man. It's well, yeah, we'll invest back into this, and we're seeing the the playback of it. So we'll invest our time into it and more of our resources and everything. And we'd love to start having guests and everything on our show and interviewing some people because we know some pretty cool people in life. Especially around this little area, some business owners and little entrepreneurship deals that like people have gone on. That's really interesting, and
Some that are
I think
super
it's
unique
cool.
well and really cater to the
Yeah, it
mid
really
area
does.
or just different areas, different things that you hear and of the mid. We do want to get over that onto Rumble on so we can interview, hang out, and everyone be themselves.
Yeah, not
Uh,
have to be worried about anything,
right,
stepping on the wrong.
right. But we already have a few lined up that we get
Yeah, that we
get
want to get talking
in.
to and
You know,
get interviewing. One of them is actually his name's Mike. He's my I guess what would he be considered? My cousin in law. I don't know. He is my cousin's husband, and she is like an older sister to me. So I really look at him like a brother in law. But he has a pretty cool logo and everything going. So, and he has a pretty cool business, and he's done a few business ventures by himself and everything, and with some other friends, and they're pretty cool. I'd like to have him on and have him talk about it. I think it's pretty sweet. I think it's dope. So I think y'all would enjoy it too. He's a really cool guy. He's really cool. He's funny. Excuse me. Oh man, all that carbonation made me burpy. So tonight we like the title said, we're gonna get on our thoughts on God, because that's kind of like where I was getting at with the opening segment there is we're you can consider us a podcast about nothing because we talk about subjects we like and everything. And one of those include God because God is a he is a prevalent figure in my life, my wife's life, and my children's life. It's really cool. Um and there's for people that are shy to talk about this, just know there's a lot more people out there with questions and are willing to listen and learn than there are people that just want to scold and scoff you away like in a second. There's a lot, like, people are good. They want a lot more people are good in the world than we give it credit for. And a lot of people want to experience happiness, and sometimes they, it's drawing them to it for some reason, you know. So tonight we're just gonna kind of get into my views, my wife's views, give a I guess you could say a woman's perspective on it, her personal journeys, what she's been through.
Yeah,
Um
it's just not even really like my personal, my own journey that I've been. Things have been a lot different for me in the past 3 years.
mhm.
Um, since we've moved here to Michigan, in
Mhm.
my relationship with him, it's changed a lot. I've learned a lot.
Right. Do you think you've learned more because you've been involved in more of like a community now? Do you think like community was like a factor of it for you?
I think so. Yeah, just because you have people around you who also are in the faith,
Mhm.
have the same views and opinions about God that you do, and they try to live in that same kind of lifestyle that you're trying for.
Right.
So the community that we have around us are very faith driven, and they're very supportive, and they
Very.
all try to live very Christ like, which is how we try and live.
Right.
So
Right.
the community around me really.
Cuz I guess you could like classify the community as Catholic. If you were to give it a label, you could
Yes.
say it's Catholic, but more of them. I feel especially the ones that are around our age. Of course, the older generation, they're first to pop off, be like, "I'm Catholic." It's kind of like a badge of honor for 'em. But especially people our age, they're more just, like, yeah, I believe in Jesus. I believe in God. They don't really try to put labels on it, and I like that. That's kind of cool. You ain't gotta put it in a box.
I don't have to focus on one religion or another. It's just what the that Jesus has given us, and how it is that we should be trying to make sure that we are living that kind of lifestyle.
Right. So like if someone like even in your situation, sweetheart, like you knew who God was. I mean, it's not like whenever we were first coming together and things like that. I wouldn't have got with you if you weren't a woman that didn't know who God was. But um I'm not going to be the one to judge how strong your relationship is with him because I don't know like what you talk to him about in your head,
Right.
what you talk to him about on car rides to work, what you talk to him about while you're on the toilet.
Right.
I don't know what y'all got going.
Right. No, like for me, like growing up, I didn't grow up in a church at all, but I always was very interested in it. And I did have a really good friend, Ashley.
That's what I was gonna say. Didn't you have a friend that took you?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
took me to a church. It was a brethren church.
Oh, okay.
Um, so it, but I mean, it was just like the kid youth thing on like the Wednesdays that everybody would go to hang
Oh,
out.
that like CCA or whatever
Yeah,
thing, like they
whatever.
like things
But
would
in
do.
this one, like we all went inside like an actual like classroom
Uh huh.
and sat down, and he would have our youth pastor. He would have us like read past it, like out of the actual Bible, and he would have us read it, like go around,
Mm-hmm.
because he was also like our middle school, like
It
worked at
was
our
one of the
middle school.
teachers, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like he did kind of like make it like a classroom setting or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah. They
learned a
do.
lot in that, but it really did interest me. But then, no, I don't think I had a adult around me that I felt I could really talk to or knew the answers that had those questions. Not saying parents like they
Mm.
just didn't, they, didn't grow up in a church. Like not saying that my parents didn't know about him or believed in him. They do, and they um very much are children of God or whatever. But it wasn't something that was just openly talked about. It was
Right.
read the Bible, um, just
Pray on your own
pray on
time.
your own time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like all like the crazy kind of questions that I would have, like I
Mm-hmm.
always searched for the answers
Mm-hmm.
and I would try and find them in the church. I would go on my own, to church camp. Um,
Oh, you went to church camp?
just one. It was for a volleyball thing and it was for that brother in church. And
Oh,
my
you didn't tell me that.
well, yeah, they needed to go to it was a volleyball camp and they were down a player and I was on the volleyball team. And so they're like, "Oh, can you like come to like us and play on the volleyball team for like because it was like a competition for or whatever,
Oh, score.
Yeah, so I went and I played on the in the competition out for the church at the
That's
church
dope.
camp and oh my god, it was absolutely stunning. It was so pretty because
Hey, them church camps are raunchy though, aren't they? Them kids are raunchy, aren't?
well, I don't know. I was only there for one night.
Oh, just one night?
Yeah.
Oh,
It
okay.
was just like a one night thing. It was basically everybody that was there. There was some from other camps, obviously, from other churches, because that's who you're going
Right,
to camp
right.
from. But our cabin, it was mainly like girls that I went to school with.
Oh,
So it was just like,
none of y'all were muff diving?
oh, ew. Oh my God. No. If anybody did that at church, I was not involved in it.
Man, I've heard stories of some kids going to church camp and it's
I don't know.
I never went to church camp, so I don't know.
I don't know. I only went that one time, that one night, but I remember it was like they had a big lake out there
Yeah.
and they had a big cross that was out there and
Yeah.
at night we went and we lit candles and like they had the things to make them float and
Oh,
we
like
put
the
them
paper lantern
yeah
deals to
and
do
like
that?
lit them
Oh,
and
y'all
like
got to
put
do
them off
y'all
in
could do
the
the paper lanterns in like the lake?
yeah
That's dope,
yeah and it was
dude.
like the star because it was in Texas of course out
Middle
there
bum fuck nowhere.
yeah it was out there by Coles or like uh where Uncle Lee lived.
Oh, up there by College Station and
Yeah.
everything. Oh, so you had some nice skies.
Yeah, the stars were absolutely stunning. You could like every star.
Yeah.
So it was so pretty.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But it was really whenever I did, like it made me fall in love with God and I wanted it drove that passion of like
That was
wanting
kind of
me to
like the
learn about
kick in the
him.
butt to like get you going a little bit more
Yeah.
down that road.
Mm,
I get you. That's cool. That's cool. But I mean, like, I mean, it's not like, saying that, like, like touching on your parents, not going to church. Like, we're not trying to say either that, the amount that you go to church determines how, I guess you could say, how strong your faith is or how good your relationship is or how, I don't know, some people, I guess, like to look at God like he's like a Don. He's like a Don, like a mob king. And it's like, oh, yeah, you go to church and give all the time. He's in my circle. Like, God doesn't work like that, dude. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of weird because it kind of confuses me whenever people are like, do you go to church? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, do you go to church? Um, do you, do you have a relationship with God? Do you understand what the church is? Do you understand it's the church, not a church? The. It's not a brick building. It's you. You're the church. So, yeah, I'm in church 24/7. You know, I try my best to be as good of a person as I can, even though for the most part I cuss like a sailor and act like a shithead, but I want the best for people. And I give people the benefit of the doubt for the most part. At least let them tell their story. I'm a firm believer in innocent until proven guilty, you know? Like that Liver King thing that we touched on earlier in the cast.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I always have my suspicions and everything, you know? Um, but I wasn't going to sit there and say 1,000%, yeah, he's on juice. I don't know. I'm not his doctor. I'm not him. I'm not his friend. He hasn't told me. I'm not going to spread a lie. But I have my suspicions. I have things that I know that are clear indicators that someone's on steroids, you know? But I digress. You love that word, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. But God's a is just a touchy subject because I thoroughly believe that it is impossible to just know God in this life, in just this little lifetime, just to know him, you know? I thoroughly believe it's impossible. And anybody that says, oh, I know God, I know what to do, stay away from those people because they will lead you straight to hell. For real. Those people are in it for the ego. Because one of the things I've learned on my journey, and it's a problem that I had, a big problem that I had, and in realizing this helped me get out of my funk of like this way that I thought, you know, um, and that was really really nice, you know. It was really nice, and what I came to know was see was that myself included, we tend to put God in a box, you know, like we tend to set up perimeters of how we think God should act. But it's like we were saying in that other podcast, he created thought. He created perimeters. So why are the ones that we created before, he created it before we could even think of it. We weren't even born yet. But why would we selfishly think that he needs to operate in those parameters, you know?
Right.
And that's made me delve on like deeper things, like do we really understand what like ultimate good and ultimate evil is?
Right. And no, I don't think anybody really, nobody can understand what it is that is ultimate good, ultimate evil.
I don't think so. I don't think they can.
We don't
I,
know what
I
God
don't.
has in store for anybody. So how can you know what's going on? Is there an ultimate or ultimate?
Right.
We have no idea what his plans are. We don't know where all of this is going, what lessons that is going to be giving, because it might not be a lesson for you, but it might be a lesson for somebody else entirely. And it may never make sense. It will make somebody else.
Yeah. 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 Because I mean, we're all going on, our own journeys,
Right.
you know,
Not everything
and
revolves around you. So
no,
why do you think that everything that happens in your life is for you?
yeah, exactly. That is that. Okay. There is one thing that everybody should know in this life, that none of us are the main character. It's God. But he loves you so much, he wants you to stand next to him as the main character. And that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. You know, like it's complicated. I've talked to a lot of different people, a lot of different faiths, you know,
Yeah, because you've
even
actually like read into a whole lot of different religions and faiths and gone down a whole lot of different paths because you've gone through a lot and you've looked for different answers. Try to steer away from God, haven't you?
I have. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. There was probably like 2 years in my life, like 2 years for sure. And it was like just a solid 2 year sliver in my life where I actively tried to disprove God and Jesus. I actively tried to disprove it. I was I was seeking every door and ran down every hallway that I thought was the answer away from him. And what I found at the end of those 2 years is it doesn't fucking matter. No matter what door you open, no matter what hallway you run down, wall you break through, stairs you climb, they all lead back to him. They all lead back to him. They do. They do. You know? And that is really where that like revelation came from, that wow, I put God in a box, you know? Like I put God in a box. And that's not fair. Like who am I? Who am I? I wasn't here whenever the pillars of creation were being stood, you know? I was way after that.
Right.
And I'll be gone while they're still standing.
And I also think that it's, good going with that because like in the Bible, whenever saying like I'm not speaking,
Right.
we're not going to understand it, but somebody else will, So it was like, because how does that quote go? Do you remember that quote?
There's many. I mean, we got the Bible right over there.
I
I
know.
mean, I could like I probably got it thumbed,
I know. I
but
think it is.
there's so many different versions.
I
We
know.
For context though, we do read King James version. And we actually have an old King James version that we got from your grandmother.
Mhm.
God rest her soul. That is it's really cool. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite books that we have. It's really big. It's really big print. It's sweet, man.
I know. I
I
love
really
it.
love it. And it's got that little note in it from her to you.
Yeah, and
It's
then
so
just different
sweet.
things that I like that different verses, stuff that she found important and had
Yeah, like she
highlighted and
really
wrote
used
in.
it.
Yeah, because she had her little notes in
You know?
it, and
Just like you do yours.
yeah, yeah, I have some of my notes right next to my granny's.
Yeah, it's so funny.
I love it. I love that's one of my favorite Bibles. It's the one I keep at home. At work, I have a different one. I have just like the
Yeah.
American, like a newer one.
Yeah, because we do read that NIV as well. The
Yeah,
New
American.
International or
Yeah.
NAV, New American Version, something. It's something like that. I don't remember. That's why I grew when I grew up reading the Bible, because when I was really young. That's what I'm saying. I'm really weird. When I was like 12, I said I'm gonna read the whole Bible, and I got through Exodus, and I was like, I'm gonna read the whole New Testament. So I read the whole New Testament whenever I was 12, from you know first book all the way to Revelation. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot, but then it garnered me a lot of questions as well. Um, and I don't know. I just that kind of like got me like really going like against the grain, because that's whenever even at 12,
You're starting to question stuff, and
yeah, I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense.
yeah, there's a lot of things like when you read the Bible, there are a lot of things where it's just like I do not understand at all, and it makes
Mm-hmm.
you question it further. I know it didn't mean anyways. There are certain things where I was just like, okay, this is the heck out of me, and I'm like now like I don't understand it at all.
I I got a theory that, because a lot of people say, oh, you're supposed to look at the Bible. There's parts of it that are philosophical. There's parts of it that are literal. There's parts of it that are this. I think it's all of them at once, because God is everything at once. So I think like maybe we're supposed like I think that's why like even in Jesus's teachings, he said, just to continuously go back into prayer, go back into scripture,
Yeah.
because you're supposed to come and look at this with like an analytical mind at times. You're supposed to look at it with a philosophical mind at times. You're supposed to look at it with a tactical mind, with a loving mind. I think like I got a theory that we're supposed to do that. So it can reveal different things to us. Like each line in the Bible it's just crazy. Because people want to like say what they want about it. Oh, it's written by man, it this, it that, it this, it that. Like, yeah, that's all true, man. But are you not going to count that it doesn't have divine inspiration? Like, how can you account for the fact that there's over 66,000 correlations between the Old Testament and the New Testament? If you don't believe me, look it up. You have the internet right in front of you.
And then just the actual physical findings that we have found that
Yeah.
also correlate to things that have been mentioned in the Bible, like have physical proof. We are finding physical proof. Things that we talk about in the Bible, we're finding that stuff in real life too. So that to me as well just helps me, like, like, come on, like, it's right here.
So scientists will get behind the theory of perception is reality. Your universe is your reality. So why can't you say your interaction with God at that moment is your reality? It's like, yeah, that's going on right now because that's your truth. That's your reality going on with your father. That is what is happening right now. And maybe that's why maybe that's why we are supposed to come at it and think like that. You know? I mean, another thing too is God is super loving and understanding, you know? Uh I can attest to that just from being a father myself, you know? I am stern with my girls, but I'm fair. I'm not like a tyrant or anything like that. But they know the rules and they have to abide by them or they get in trouble. And they rarely do anything. I mean, I got blessed with fantastic children. Like I have no idea what I did to deserve such good kids, but thank you, Father. I really, really appreciate that. It has made life super easy. And uh, I always brag on my kids, man. They're so
Oh, I
cool.
know. I do too. I think I I have always said to my coworkers, I have always said I did not raise these girls. That was all God. Like, Jesus was the one who raised them. Like, that was not me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think quite a lot of times he did the guiding for them
Which
and
is
we
what I
just kind
prayed
of
for.
sat in the back. I mean, I'm always I have prayed for that. I can honestly say almost every day
Me
since I
too.
was in my mid 20s.
Yeah, ever since we had on the one, like, one of my main prayers is them to happy, healthy, and loved, and for them to just stay on the path that he wants them to go down, and to help guide us, help guide them the way that them to be guided. Not what we want for them. It's not what they want for them, but they are, what the journey that they are supposed to go down that God has for them, so that they can go back home to Him. It's not what we want as parents. We want the absolute best for them. He knows what's absolute best for them, not us. So I literally just try and just like, pray and pray and pray. And if there's a question that comes up, like with Kenzie's swim meet that she had, that one had me a nervous wreck. I had no idea what to do because she was going to be going out of town without us, staying overnight in a hotel, first time ever.
Yeah, that was a lot of firsts that
Yeah,
weekend.
and it was her birthday weekend, and then there was a
Yes.
snowstorm that came in, and the roads were bad. I was a nervous wreck. but
He got us through it.
yep, I trusted in God. My coworkers, I'm telling you, they knew they went through it with me. All of the anxieties I was having about it, you know.
Yep.
But I just, I knew she needed to go. I just prayed on that, and she went and she had an amazing time. She had amazing memories with friends and her cousins, stuff that were there.
And I thank God for that. You know.
No, she was very blessed. She had, I mean, no, she said she had a great birthday. She won, she got first place. She surprised herself.
Yeah.
It gave
In
her a
her
new,
race, she got first place.
yeah, and it gave her a new
Overall, she
drive.
got like what, like top 30?
Yeah, for one of them, I believe so.
Got like top 30 in one of them out of like 200 kids. I was like, whoa, get it, girl.
Dude, I'm so proud of her. I don't like, I'm so freaking proud of her.
Oh yeah, I was over the moon for that little girl.
And she was proud of herself, and that's what it was about. She made a great memory, and she was proud of herself.
She was extremely proud of
Yes.
herself. And that's what it's all about, you know?
And it gave her a new drive too for her swim. She was like, okay,
I
now
got to
I
do
got this
this.
bug of competition of getting there first. Now I have to do it every time. Now she's like working even harder. And
It's beautiful.
yeah, so it is. It's great.
And that's just one of the blessings that the Lord has done for me, because man, like I said, he just for whatever I did, man, whatever I did, I must have done one good thing to deserve them, you know, because they didn't get it from me. I'm a little shitteed, but
Oh no, I'll say I was a good kid.
yeah, you are like a little goody, like a little goody goody. I'm always
I
going
didn't
like,
get
dude, quit being such a nerd. Come on, pussy.
I never
You
got in
know?
trouble. I was always too terrified. I'm still terrified. You know that. I don't like getting in trouble. I'm good. I don't like the drama. I don't want the confrontation. That's just not me. Like, why? Just chill out. Like, back up if you're having bad energy. I'm not for it. Like I just that's just not me. Like, if you want to have a bad energy or a negative energy attitude or whatever, like I just don't want to be around it. Like arguing, fighting, it drives me nuts. And I think I say that on the podcast every time. Just like calm down, like chill out, like just stop talking. Like if you really don't have anything productive to say to help a situation, just shut your mouth. Why speak? If you have nothing to say that is actually valid, why speak? Like I'm sorry, you're just because you think of it does not mean it's valid. I'm sorry. Every thought that comes to your head is not smart. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a hard one for a lot of people to realize, that not everything they have to say is a good thing to say, or they should even be saying it, you know?
Or anybody cares that you even think that. Like like I'm sure us even doing this, like I'm sure people are like, I don't care that you think that. Cool, dude. Okay.
Have a great day.
Exactly.
Have a
Like
good one.
I'm sure people don't care what we have to say either, but on some things, but no, move along. I don't need to hear that you don't want to hear what I have to say. You can just goodbye.
But like we were saying, you got to be on your own path. And right now, I feel like this is just what I'm at least supposed to be doing, and I really appreciate you coming along for the ride, because like we were saying earlier, I've known of God since I was little. I came up in the Catholic uh, church, faith, whatever you want to call it. I call it the faith, or I call it the religion, because faith is God, church is us, faith is God. God is just everything, and we are the church. You know, and I came up in the religion of Catholicism, and I was baptized. I did my first communion, did the cracker and the wine, and I still do the cracker and the wine whenever I do go to the building, you know, whenever I go to the building and expand church with my brothers and sisters. and I go in the building, I'll still eat the cracker, the wine,
Oh yeah, I
do
love
all
taking
that. I love it. I love
go.
communion.
It
Beautiful.
is. I love going, and our kids take communion every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday they do. They go to a Catholic school. I love it. My wallet doesn't, but I love it.
I don't care. No, I mean the churches,
I'll
because I mean I'm not even gonna say,
I'll give my toe every year.
I mean yeah, but also Catholic churches have gotten a lot better, and they're not as they do have a lot that can help people go into a Catholic private
Yes, they really do.
and they have done that for us, and I am so, so blessed and
Oh,
so
yes.
thankful that for everything that our church and our community and our school has done. I think we have one of the best ones around here academically. The staff, the principal is absolutely amazing. And she's stunning. She's she's just beautiful inside and out. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I cannot say
She's a
enough
great woman.
about her.
I really respect and appreciate her.
Yeah, like absolutely. And you know, the school has also helped me grow my faith because I see how the adults that are in this school are and how caring and loving, generous they are and how faith-based and Christ-like they act and the values and morals they pass on to our children. I absolutely love it. I just love everything about it, you know.
So so someone in like a similar situation like you um grows up knowing God.
I was never baptized though.
Okay, that's
Well,
fine.
no,
That's fine.
I know that I was just saying that's
Okay,
I
well, then we'll
was
say that too. Never baptized, never attended any schoolings like that to receive communion, anything, but knew of God, attended church a handful of times. Parents gave you a Bible, and then getting older, you know. I know you would ask me your questions, but honestly, really the first, I would say like probably 7 years of our marriage. The first 5 years we were younger
right.
and we didn't really communicate like that. I know you asked your questions every now and then, but it wasn't really like deep. It
Right.
was just kind of like basic stuff. And I kind of always just did my own thing whenever it came to like my relationship and the faith with the Father. I'm sorry that I isolated. But circling around to that with isolation, like someone in a situation like you were in, and they do want to maybe take that step forward, would you recommend them doing what you did and changing their surroundings, getting involved, like throwing themselves into a community?
A community that is going to help support them, show them what it's like to be a Christian and not
Right. You always got to go to the right one,
exactly. And that's
you
what's
know.
important though, because a lot of them will throw themselves in situations,
Hmm.
churches that are not actually good church, and it's going to end up doing more harm to them. So yeah, finding right people, the right disciples to surround yourself with to help nurture that faith that you're trying to build and actually help guide you. Like
Hmm.
I did end up getting a sponsor, and she helped me a great deal of
Right.
seeing how it was to live as an adult that lives Christ like, and also being a mother and a wife and all of that. She was an amazing supportive role of showing me how to live that faith. And that did help me a lot. Yes, having strong community around you that lives in the faith to help guide you and show you what it actually is like to live like that.
Yeah, because sometimes you gotta look towards your brothers and sisters for an example. And I know that I know that I'm not the best example, because I have my own flavoring in life, and like I said, I do my own relationship with the Father, you know. I've it's always been kind of like that. It's always just kind of been me and him, you know, even whenever I wouldn't recognize it or even realized it. It's always just been me, you know. Uh Real quick, I don't have a I have no relationship really with my biological father. I've met him I met him once whenever I was 12, and then whenever we first moved up here, we saw him pretty good for the first like couple months, and then the next few months after that it was very rare. I know like COVID was a factor in that, but then eventually he just showed his true colors, and it was like, yeah, I rebuke you until you get your shit together, you know. Stepdad, he was something else. That's something for another. That's something for another. That could be its own. God, that could be its own mini series. He was something else, but no, he's not around anymore. And I don't hate him. You know, I don't sit there and wish any ill will towards him. But I'm also not going to look for him, and I'm not looking to hang out with him. You know.
Definitely. I do.
But I wish him no ill will, and may he live a long, healthy life and prosper. You know, God bless. But it's always kind of just been me and him. Kind of been alone, and then I was born in quick I guess say cliff notes. Born in Michigan, lived here till I was about 4 or 5. Moved to West Virginia, lived there till I was about 14. Then moved all the way to Texas, and I lived there until I was 29. And then I moved back to Michigan, and I've been back for 3 years now, and I'm 32. And in that time, that I have been on a doozy of a ride with God. Um, this is a personal vendetta that I don't really like sharing publicly, but I will, just so people can know the context of where I'm coming from with my relationship with the Father and my understanding. Um, when I was 16, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. I had gotten sick for a few weeks. I'm about the same height that I am now. I'm heavier than I was in high school. In high school I was about 145 pounds, 140 pounds. I'm 170 now.
I know one point you're 48, so you're
Oh
out.
yeah, I was 148 at one point. But I'm 5'10", so I mean I have like an average build. You know, I have like an average build. I'm not like thick and huge or anything, but I'm also not like a lanky string bean or anything. You know, I just guess I just have like an average, nothing to look at build. But I dropped in the short time of those weeks, I dropped down to about 90 pounds. Yeah, about 90 pounds. And everybody in my family, we all thought that I just had the flu or something. And then my mom was working nights. Stepdad didn't pay attention. He didn't give a shit. But she came home one morning and saw me, and she was like, well, you need to go to the hospital. So she went to bed, and then when she got up 8 hours later, we went to the hospital, and he went to the doctor. It was just a family practitioner. We didn't go to the ER or urgent care or anything. We just went to the family doctor. And he checked my sugar, and it wouldn't read it because it was too high. And he didn't have a machine capable of reading the level of sugar that I was at. And that is, he looked at me and he said, son, I think that you might have diabetes. And I said, what? And then I guess I might have went into shock, you know, from hearing the news and just like utter confusion, like what? Because of course, while I was in the doctor and everything, I was feeling super dizzy and super woozy and everything. But it was like right after he said that, it's like someone just started dimming the lights, like everything just started coming in, getting real dark, and that's all I remember. And then I was fine. I woke up a day later, but while I was out, I had a rather weird experience. I was suspended in nothing. And it was dark, but I don't mean that it was like I was in like a dark room just floating. I was just suspended in nothing, in a lifeless void. It was just nothing. And I was like, am I dead? Like I didn't feel nor I don't know how to explain it. And that's why I'd even be skeptical, you know, and I'd even be skeptical, and you're 100% right to feel skeptical of my story, because you should always have your suspicions, okay? But that's why I'm skeptical and suspicious of people that like describe what like feelings that they felt in the way like that. They describe other things and like pretty much like what they felt. I don't know. I'm just skeptical of it.
It's like, how do you remember?
It's not just that. It's just because it's like I said, I can't describe like what I felt like, but I didn't feel like this. I didn't feel like I didn't feel like anything that I felt at any time in this plane. I have never felt like that.
To compare it or
Yeah,
describe it with
I
or
can't
anything.
compare
Yeah.
it, describe it, nothing. But I can tell you, I was like in floating in nothing.
Yeah.
I felt like I felt enough to describe, to let you know that I was floating.
Right.
Like I felt like I was just like in the air,
Like,
but I didn't feel like it didn't feel like my body, you know. And like I said, any stage of what it's gone through, nothing like that. It didn't
right.
feel like anything. And like I said, it was dark. That's the best way I can describe that. But it was there was no light. There wasn't anything there. It was just nothing. You know, it was just nothing. But and then what it looked like a curtain almost. Like this just darkness, a void of nothing. It looked like it like just could stretch on forever. But then it looked like it had like just this weird like partition, like almost like right in front of me. And I was like, what? Because that was the only little sliver of light that was coming into this nothingness. And I remember thinking, like, what is that? What is going on? And I remember seeing this hand. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to everybody and say, like, yes, that was God. That was Jesus. That was an angel. That was this. That was that. I don't know what it was. I have no idea what it was. It was really weird. But I will say this, I didn't feel threatened. I didn't feel scared. I felt fine. You know, I just kind of just felt like I was just like,
yeah.
I was just wait. It was almost like I knew like I was just supposed. Like I didn't know I was supposed to be there, but I was supposed to be there. You know, like it's like I was just like, yeah, open the door, I'm coming.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, hey, I'm here, I'm coming in.
You're just like waiting.
Yeah, I was just like waiting.
Yeah.
But the hand, it was like weird looking. It was kind of like, it was almost like it was like made of like the prettiest, glitteriest like skin you could think of, but then like someone just like turned down the opacity of it, like you could see through it, you know, like it was like semi-transparent, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the best way that I could visually describe it.
That's so crazy.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. But the hand kind of like grabbed and it peeled back, and man, what I saw in there for that brief second. And that's what it felt like. Like I hear these stories too, where it was like, it was a second that I know, but it felt like an eternity. It was 1,000 years. I know. Like how the fuck do you know? Like, I will tell you this. It felt like a second. It felt like a second. It felt like just like a second went by, you know? Like, physically, I felt like I was there for a second. And looking into whatever I was looking at, it was the same amount of time, just like a second or two, you know? Because it was like, it peeled back and it was so pretty. It was so pretty.
It was like a
It was
field or a meadow or something. What was it? Like, do you see flowers or something?
it was bright at first. It was that's what it. I only saw it for a little bit, but it was super super bright, you know. But it was a bright light I've never seen before. I can't even describe it to you. I've never seen this light before. I've never seen anything like this light before. And just it wasn't just like a regular like light either. Just like a white light, soft light, warm light. It was a light that had so many colors coming out of it. It was just like what? It blew your mind. And then I think I think it wasn't that long. It was like a second or two. And I'm not gonna sit here and BS everybody and be like, yeah, it was only like a second or two, but man, when I was stuck in that moment, it was like 10,000 years went by. I lived 4,000 lifetimes. Even though as soon as I came back into the regular human world, I still fucked around and did regular human shit.
Right.
Whenever I should have the mind of a 4,000, 10,000-year-old person. Like, I'm not going to sit here and bullshit everybody like that. But I will say, it was light that I've never seen before. It was so many colors I've never seen before. I can't describe them to you. I don't know what they are. But they're dope. They're dope.
Does it kind of look anything like the paint?
Oh, this deal? Yeah, this is my new painting. It's a rough draft for one that I'm going to do for a donation at Mardi Gras. School Mardi Gras for the private school my kids go to, not the one in Louisiana. But I don't know, maybe. No, I was way cooler than that. Like that's whack compared to it.
Well, I meant like
No, it
how.
wasn't, I don't know. I don't know. It was like light, but there was like, I don't know how to describe it, dude. It was light that had colors in it, but not like you. It's not like you're thinking. It's not like you're thinking. I know you're probably thinking like, oh, okay, just like different light rays, different colored light ray. No, it was like, I don't know. It was like bright light, white light, warm light, blue light, red light, green light, you know, neon light, pink light, green light, black light, like all at once.
Yeah.
Like everything all at once. And it was like, and then it was like in the light, I did see a brief glimpse of what I think was the edge of a tree line and some grass. Super, super, super big, deep blue sky. Like I've never seen the blue before. I've never seen it before. And I paint, I mix oil paints, acrylic paints, watercolors. I have tried so hard to try and make this blue again, and I can't do it. I don't know. Every time I do it, I'm like, dude, that is not even close. That looks like dog shit.
Compared to that blue that you're trying
Yeah,
to
the
get.
one that I'm trying to get, it's like, I can't do it. It's not possible. I don't think it's possible.
That's crazy. So, no? All right.
And it's like when I saw it, I wanted to go, but I couldn't do anything. I was just, like I said, I was just suspended. That was one of the things that helped me confirm after I had like thought back heavily on it. Oh yeah, I was just suspended in the air. That's why I couldn't do it. I was suspended in the air. That's why I couldn't move around. So I wanted to go in it and do all that.
Oh.
Because it looked really cool and it looked really inviting. And I liked it.
Could you not? But you couldn't go.
I couldn't go. And I heard this very stern but fair, harsh but loving, loud but quiet. I know it's weird. I know it, like, you're like, what? That makes no sense. What? I know it doesn't make any sense because you can't describe it with normal things in this plane because we haven't been given those tools because they're not over here. But it was just like that is one thing I will say. It was subtle. It was subtle. It was like if someone were like in a room full of commotion, someone to be talking to you, like someone just to get right up to you and talk to you just like this. And it was just
It
It
just
was
wasn't concerning. It was really calming for you and
yeah,
everything.
and
Yeah.
it's weird to explain, but
Yeah.
I know, especially after I've thought about it and pondered on it heavily since it happened. It came from a place of love. So I heard it, and it just said, "Not yet." And then I woke up, and then I woke up in the hospital, and I was like, "Whoa, that was weird. That was really weird. That was super weird. What was that?"
How long were you out for?
I was out for about a day, little over a day, little over, little over. Because I don't know what time I got to the actual like hospital because supposedly in the doctor's office they called the ambulance, got to the hospital, this, and that. But I do know that we got there at like 4 o'clock, 4:30, something like that, to the doctor's office. And I woke up at 2:40. It was like 2:40 something. I won't forget that shit. It was like I think it was like 2:48 because I was like, 2:48. What the fuck? You know? It was like 2:48 or something like that. um, and it was a full 24 hours past the 4 p.m. mark, and then into the wee hours of the next day. So, like I said, it was probably like 30 hours. I was out. I was probably out like 30 hours.
Wow, that is so. And then to wake up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, because I was hooked up to a few different machines and everything, so that was kind of scary. And then the nurse just came in because I was fiddling with them, and she was like, "No, no, no, no," and like they did what they had to do so I could get comfortable since I was awake. But they made me go back to sleep, which I was tired. I was very tired. Um, but she just like very like nonchalantly and kind of coldly was like, "You're a type 1 diabetic." I was like, "What does that mean?" The doctor will be in the morning to explain everything to you. What the fuck?
How sweet.
And then she just left. Then I fell asleep. And they woke me up at 6:30 and took my blood. And then I couldn't go back to bed. But yeah, as a younger man, I let other people's words and what they had to say about God influence me, even with that experience, and how I looked at God and how I thought he should be, how I thought he should do life. And that puts him in a box. And it took me a long time to get around that, and put that in the dirt, to put down my shield of ego and pride and move on with true healing and true learning and enlightenment that you can obtain by doing so. Yeah, there for a while after I had gotten diabetes for a few years, I did start to become a little bit bitter. Life's some of the complications with the disease. Not as far as like my body or anything. I've been blessed so far with like pretty good shit.
Right. But just, the not being able to have the same snacks, really like the
Always having to be
lifestyle
different.
change.
You can't really go anywhere because you got to take medicines, and it's a hassle. The people
Right.
see them, you
Because
got to
at that
explain it.
time, we're taking
I
the
was on a sliding
shots.
scale,
Yeah.
so I had to take my vials and my needle and my shot needles, and then I had insulin blood glucose monitor, and that came in a pouch. I had to bring that. So it was always just a thing. And whenever people would see it, they'd want to know what it was, and they'd want to explain and everything. So
Yep.
yeah, I mean, and then taking the medicine all day, every night at 10 o'clock, same time, no matter what you're doing. Take your 24-hour medicine, take your sliding scale every time before you eat. It started wearing on me. And I started becoming really, really, really bitter. And I started listening to stories and listening to things and being like, well, why can't God do this? Why doesn't he do that? Why that? Why this? Why that? And I was putting him in a box. And and I'm ashamed of that. But I'm glad that I learned not to do that. And I hope that if some of you are having problems with what you think your life should be doing, how you want it to go, just know that you might be putting him in a box. You might want to take him out and see if things start changing for you, because a lot of times that's what holds us back. It's ourselves through what we think is freedom. And yeah, like my wife said earlier, like I had gone and I tried to disprove God for a good 2 solid years of my life. I read into things like the Gospel of Judas, and how him and Jesus were really friends and this was all like secret. And then I've read texts too where Jesus didn't get crucified, Judas really got crucified. And then the correlation between Horus and Jesus, and then how people try to how to connect it all to 12 disciples to the 12 zodiac signs and everything like that. And I'll tell y'all, those are all fun. They're all fun theories. They're all very fun theories. But that's all they are. That's all they are. Is the Bible 1,000% true? No, not at all.
No,
Not at all.
I mean, like,
It was written by man, but it's been divine. It was written by man, but it's been divinely inspired. Come on, use that brain to think while it's still free. Like, how could this book? Think about how books were back in the day too. We didn't have a Kinko's that we could go to after Jebediah just got done transcribing one of the scripts
and how many
and
times
print
have
out
Bible
500 copies.
right? And how many times have Bible there have been a like massive a burning of Bibles throughout centuries?
Oh yeah, like
They have
they
been
have been
burned
trying to get rid of
and
this book and they can't.
destroyed. Yeah, but they're still around. So, I mean, they are standing the test of time. It is making somehow, God, that is how, God, these books still get published, they still get put out there, and they're still making things now. And these things started out from just things they found on like scrolls. Like that's
Mhm.
insane. Like what we have in our Bible and how that
Mhm.
book has come to be as a whole are
Yeah.
all from scrolls that were just found
Saved.
saved for.
A lot of these people got themselves killed trying to save these
Yeah,
scrolls.
and tell me that that is not something worth in the first place. There are so many people, like you said, they put their lives on the lines, died for this scrolls, make sure that this message, words were, um, be read and passed on for people to read, learn from.
Yep.
So why would you not want to be curious about it and want to read it? But it is okay, you know?
Even just to expand your mind as a human being.
Yeah.
Just open your mind to more possibilities.
You know how they wrote. I mean, I know like it's all different. I know it's translated and transcribed many
So
times
many times.
throughout the years and all that stuff. But if you actually go, because I know there's like videos and stuff, and where you can when the actual scrolls, right?
Yeah, the Dead Sea
The Dead
Scrolls
Sea,
that
yeah.
they've found. Yeah, they got them on display, and that's some of our best evidence. You know, another thing that's one of the things that helps confirm with me stories from the Bible. And it's like that's why there's that expression, you have to take it with a grain of salt, you know? Like we were talking about the other day on the other podcast. Was there a biblical flood? Yeah. Yeah, probably. Like 1,000%. Yeah. Was Noah the only dude? Probably not. Probably not. But was there a flood? Yeah. But was like Noah the only dude saved with his family? And he repopulated us back to 8 billion. Nah, I'm pretty sure that didn't happen, bro. I'm pretty sure that didn't happen.
Can't say for sure, but it
Yeah,
seems like
we
a good possibility that there is probably more than one, just one ark that got built that was all over the world, that boats were built and saved like that.
because that's one thing that I have found with history, and it's like, wait a minute, if you take this event and this biblical event and you say it this way, that's not profitable to this secret organization that pushes up a lot of this canonical shit to get you indoctrinated to think one way, then it makes sense. Wait a minute, those are connecting dots. That is one thing that I found out, and that was a big inspiration for me to get into history whenever I went into college, you know, to major in history and everything, because it's God, you know. I want to see what we did in the past, where he was, find answers, you know. I'm always going to look for answers, and I'm always going to be up for this discussion because I love it. Because I love learning about him, and I love learning other people's experiences with him.
Just hearing other people's stories and their journey that they've gone through, and
Yeah.
then getting to see miracles or the way that God works through people's lives
Yep.
is absolutely beautiful. Like I love listening, and like and sometimes people won't even like of it, and they won't even realize that that was an inner working of God that was going on in their lives. Like
Right.
so,
Right.
like even with us and coming up here, like through our own personal journey, like things that happened that led us to be here in Michigan is absolutely insane. Like
It had divine intervention.
it honestly did. It honestly did because where we were at, we weren't meant to.
No, we
God
weren't
was
meant
trying
to.
to
It
get
was
us
just a
here.
pit stop.
Yeah, it was. It was just a pit stop. We had to do one last thing before we went on the other side of the country with my family. I needed to go and help my sister, you know, and my little brother, and then we went. But like it was like
It was crazy.
it was crazy because out of
And
nowhere, we literally like out of nowhere just like we're gonna move to Michigan, you know?
yeah, it was weird. It was weird even for us, and we still say it was to this day. But that was really whenever, because that was 3 years ago. So for a good 2 years before that, I had been heavily praying for God submitting to God and being like, God, I don't know what I'm doing. I need your help. Please help me. Guide me. Show me what to do. Tell me what to do.
And then I got into that car wreck.
Yep.
And
And
it,
that's why I told that little story earlier, because and y'all can call me crazy, say that I'm, oh, you're just schizo, dude. But sometimes in my life, in certain situations, I will still hear that voice tell me something very quietly and subtly. I'll be like, what? And usually when I listen to it, life turns out pretty good. Because going to Michigan, I heard that. I heard go to Michigan. What? Go to Michigan? What? I'm not going to go back to Michigan. What? And what's hilarious is my uncle, who is, he's like a dad to me. Always has been. Whenever I would come up here as a kid in the summertime, he was the one that I would go and stay with. Him and my aunt, they're the ones with all the kids and who I consider my brothers and sisters. But moving back up here was never an option on the table. We never had thought about it.
no,
No, we.
never.
I mean, we had played with the idea, but we had never taken it seriously.
When you were younger, but as you got older, no.
Yeah, as we got older and the kids got older, it was like, no, that's completely off the table. The kids are getting older. They're going to get cemented into school. We want them to stay in one place, this, and that. And it's just funny because right before we came up here, my uncle told me, and we had a conversation about it. How he told me, like, right before we got here, he was like, and I feel like God's telling me to get ready for someone because someone's coming. Like I need to like get ready to help someone that's coming. And then he told me that he had those feelings for about a month, and then we showed up, and he was like, oh my God, you
And
know?
it because we literally came out of nowhere. Like, we didn't call them, let them know we were coming. No, no, we had no intention of, you know, anything.
No,
We
we were just drove up in, stopped by to say hi,
yeah, yep,
and it's all history from there.
yeah. Then they
We've
just
been living up.
convinced us to stay.
Yeah, and then they just convinced us to stay right here in the middle of the mitten, and been here for 3 years. It's been the best decision I've ever made in my life.
Yeah, it was because this is exactly where I feel God has always called us to be as a family. I feel like this is where God has called me my entire life as
Excuse
well.
me.
Ever since I was young, I always wanted to live north. I wanted to where it snowed, you know? Like I wanted to live in a certain kind of community. I wanted to live in a kind of town. I was but God answered every single one
You're
of them.
very blessed.
Yes.
You're very blessed.
Yes, I am. I am very, very blessed because I had certain things that I wanted out of my life, and God gave that to me. And it's not even like we have a whole bunch. It's not like we're like, whatever. It's the people that we have around us, the lifestyle that my kids are getting to and grow up the way that they're getting to grow up is what I wanted. You know?
And that's beautiful. That's what every parent should strive for with their children, to give them better than they had. And I feel like, as far as like what my kids have, and especially the relationship that they have with me, they have better than I had, and I'm happy with that. But I still pray every day for guidance for what to do, because I want to know. I want to make sure that what I'm doing right is right, and not for me to be a good boy, or to me to be okay, so I won't go to hell, so I won't go to the widow fires. Because throughout
You just don't want to mess
my
up
journey,
yeah.
I've found one question I found myself asking, what after I would get done praying, was, am I truly praying because I care and I want this to happen, or am I just doing this because I don't want to go to hell? And that was a really hard pill for me to swallow,
Yeah.
because that got me thinking back, like, man, there's a lot of stuff that I have prayed for that I ultimately really didn't care about, and I was just praying just to say it and go through the motions because I thought I was supposed to be the good person. But even Jesus teaches, always go back to Jesus's teachings. That's why I say, if read the Bible, and if you're not going to read the whole Bible, read the New Testament. And if you still don't want to read all that, just read the red words. That's it. That's really all that matters in that whole book. Just the red words. That's
Find
it.
the red.
That's it. Because all the stuff before the red words, they're just hyping you up for the red words. And then all the stuff after the red words, they're just confirming what the red words said.
Yeah.
So you can just read the red ones, and you got a really good consensus of what to do. Like, you really do. It's really not as complicated as people try to make it out to be. We as people make it complicated.
Try to blur the lines, look in the middle, and say things to our narrative.
Because, I mean, ultimately, what I've been learning is he gave us all the instructions that we needed. Let people come as they are, love your neighbor as yourself, and have faith in me. I got you. Believe. And, that has helped me a lot. That's helped me to where I don't get so involved. And that is, even whenever we're getting involved in stuff with people, like, oh, you shouldn't be like that, dude. You shouldn't do that, dude. You got to do this. Like, what? You don't know? You don't know? Like, if God could come down right now and be like, he'd probably be like, yo, chill. I got them doing this because I need them to do this. And they're going to do this later on in life. But if you keep doing this, you're going to screw the pooch. So shut your mouth up when you're talking to them.
Yep. Now, that's not to say that God does not bring or does not need someone to be a messenger. And
No,
I do
no.
think that when someone might be
Because God,
messing up, he might use another person to send a message, but it's still not be sitting there telling that person that they cannot do that. They have to do this. They have to do that. All you can do is tell them, like, hey, this is how I would this situation going, and I would think that this is how it would need to go. But I'm just gonna pray for you, and I pray that your journey that you go down is the one that God is leading down, whether it's you in a lesson or it's you this opportunity right now to go ahead and change your life because this was the moment that he did to bring him, like that story about the 99 and the 1.
mm-hmm.
Like we are that, you know, sometimes are having to be that shepherd that goes out and brings to be that messenger of God, that to go and get our brothers and our fellow, know, members, like go out and like let them know like, hey, like this might be it, but definitely not like cannot say like for sure like have to change. That we have no idea the path that God has them down, and they might still have a lot of learning that they have to do down that destructive path that they're going down at that moment.
No, because we need to, because that's where people get it mixed up. They're like, oh yeah, you can't judge people. Yeah, you can. God wants you to. He
Right.
wants you to make righteous. He wants you to make righteous judgments. Not, oh, she has 5 kids. She's but them legs don't close.
Right.
Like what? Who cares about that? But if she's like allowing her children down paths of destruction and this and that, yeah, that's a righteous judgment that you can be like, hey, you're not lined up with what the like our father wants us to be doing, and I need you to like get away from me while you get your shit together. I love you. I don't care that you got the 5 kids. I don't care that you got blue hair on one side, yellow hair on the other side. I don't care that you're living off food stamps. I don't care that you're fucking living off welfare and 2 other baby daddy's checks. I don't care. Are you a good person? Are you trying to live in the eyes of the Lord? Are you trying to better yourself? Are you trying to get off those food stamps? Are you trying to show your children how to be strong? Then hell yeah, dude, like you're cool. Come as you are though. But yeah, we have to make those righteous judgments. That's how we rebuke people, you know?
That's I feel like that's how you be a fisher of men too, because that is our job is to be a fisher of men, God,
Mhm.
and sometimes letting our brothers and sisters know that they are not doing or go they might not be going down the path that the Lord has set for them, or maybe not the way living
Well, that
the
we don't know. We don't
yeah,
know what
that's what
he's
I'm
got them
saying.
going
Yeah, we
down.
don't know the path that God has for them, but it might be that they are not doing what values they should be by,
Mhm.
and
No, that's what casting that net is though.
right,
Casting that net is something as simple as just saying his name. You know, you don't have to be the one
say
that
anything.
sits down with the thieves, the vagabonds, the prostitutes. You're not the one that has to do that. He does that. You just say his name. It is everybody's responsibility to take care of themselves and go on their own journey with the Lord. It's not cookie cutter the way that these churches make it out to be. Like the modern day church, what so many I consider the church us. We are the church, not a building. But what these modern day buildings that call themselves churches like to do is make it seem like God is just like a ABC 1 2 3. You do this, you pay this, you get in the gate, buddy. Heaven's just like a nightclub, and God's the bouncer, and you do all this, you'll grease his hand, guaranteed to get in. You don't realize that as soon as you are born, God wants you. He doesn't need you. He wants you. He wants you to come to the door. He wants you to come in. He don't need you. He don't need you to do this and this and this and sacrifice. He sacrificed. He has done everything for you.
Yeah.
All you have to do, let people come as they are, love thy neighbor as thyself, and have faith in him. And that's what I'm figuring out on my journey. I'm not going to say I have it figured out. I still fall.
We're
You
all
know,
human.
we're all
That's
human
why we get to come as we are, and that's why he did what he did and went and sacrificed and took all of that
because he
sin
loves
for
you.
us.
Because he loves you. None of this new age crap where, oh, we're the universe and we're all from the universe and it broke off little pieces of itself so it could go learn and experience and understand what life is so that we can go back into it and all become one and have this great understanding. No, that is so wrong. And go put a helmet on. Please, please. I love you, but no, no. God created everything. So why would he need you to tell him about what he created? He would rather you go out and experience it and then have you come back to him and talk about that experience with him. He wants that relationship. Like I said in those words of red, he says, go to your closet, find me. I'm waiting for you. I pine for you. To him, you're like a drug. You're like a drug and he can't get enough of you. He doesn't know how to stop. It's us that cut him off. Because we put him in a box. And we have our own agendas. We look at ourselves as the main character. No, we're the NPCs in the video game. We're the dudes that are walking into the pillars that are stuck. Like, That's us. We aren't the hero. He's coming soon.
That's what we also have to remember.
Be vigilant.
Vigilant.
Build your relationship every day.
Never know. No man knows when he's.
You'll know
It's,
the season.
you'll know the season.
And 'tis the season to get holy.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say.
But I mean, it's like a test that's coming that you don't know about. So you better be studying like every day because you're gonna get the test and it happen at any moment. 'Cause
Yeah, just
literally,
what do I study? Everything. What's it about? Everything.
like I was telling you earlier, a friend of mine was just driving, this- or she witnessed this happen. She was in
Mm.
a different vehicle or whatever. But this guy, he was driving, and he has a heart attack and he dies. You know,
Yeah,
like
you
just
never know
go
when you're going to get that great call.
right. You don't know, like you could literally just. And said that he was pretty young.
Wow.
Know, so you never know when that day is that you're going to come. Is this not even like the you know the time is near for judgment day for like the end of the world, like in the book of the Revelations. You never know when your time is that you are going to become
When your personal revelation
personal.
with Jesus Christ is going to happen.
And you already are supposed to live every day, or like you should, or try whatever. Live every day like it's your last day here on earth. Because you don't ever know when you're going to die. You never know. Anybody, especially since COVID, it seems like people are dropping like flies.
They really are, and it's
It's it
scary.
is very scary. So even in today's time, it's even more scary than it ever has been. So it's like, Bill, start now. And it's never too late. You have never done too much in your life to change it and to turn and run to him as fast and as quick as you can,
Yep.
because he's already there. He's already waiting. open arms, run into and protect you.
And that's why I'm trying to really iterate. Try to think about, especially if you don't believe, have a rocky relationship, kind of on the fence. Think about, have I put walls up for him to act in? Have I put up boundaries? Do I need to lay down my shield? Am I being ignorant and not want to learn and see the bigger picture? Because there's to even understand what he's trying to do and everything he's got going on, you drive yourself in circles. That's why every day I just pray for guidance and wisdom. But I do know that he loves us and he wants that relationship. And he asks a lot from people that want to follow him.
It is
And he
hard.
asks very little from the ones that want to ignore him. And it's hard.
Want to give in to that daily that just of
Just being a
just
human.
and then even like our society nowadays, we have a lot of sin that is so easily accessible right at our finger.
Oh yeah, I mean like Instagram is basically porn.
Exactly. Yeah, and
I
like
mean, and that's like right there at your fingertips legally.
yeah, and then just all the bad stuff that goes on in Hollywood, and then it gets put on TV, and we just have to be okay with it because it's out there, because it's already there, and so it's you're just forced to see all of this stuff that we not be morally okay with, you know. So it's like it's hard to disciple in this world that we live in because we have so much stuff that is so like shoved in our.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. It
It seems
really
like it
is
was so
hard.
much easier, like, back in the day whenever you didn't have phones, where, you really could just be in your house, go to school, go to work, come home, listen to, like, the 9 o'clock or whatever, just the daily that was basically bad stuff you saw, but from your house and life might not see anything bad, might not have any, like, trying have to really pray about because it was an easy day. It was a routine day, you
Mhm.
know? But now we have these phones that we are on constantly, are checking up on each other every now and or every single day. Like my friend in Texas that I saw that she went through that traumatic event today where she saw this guy driving just have a heart attack and die, you know? Like
30 years ago, you'd have never
I would have
known.
never known that. No, yeah, exactly. That we would have never known that kind of stuff. So we are exposed to so much stuff that makes it
Like
conflicting.
the evil's always been here in the world. I
Yeah.
feel like the world has always been like kind of evil, like like pretty much like levelly evil throughout like life. You know, it's just been it's easy to sit there and like microscope at like one area in history and be like, no, that was like super evil there, bro. Well, yeah, but like 5 years earlier over here, they were doing this. Oh, well, so I think like we've been like pretty bad, you know, throughout like life and all
Yeah.
that shit. But it's just it's all bleeding into us and seeping throughout everything that we know so much faster now because of these phones. And we're just
It's a
it's a
constant.
virus. It turns
Yeah.
it into a virus. That's the real virus in the
Yeah.
pandemic.
Yeah, it really is because we're constantly by always being on it. I mean, I know we're all guilty of it. We're we're on it right now. Hopefully, you're on it listening right now.
Mhm.
So, of course, we it's something that is just so integrated into everybody's lives now too. So that's
Right.
why it is really hard in today's society, the way that we live our lives nowadays, really be on that path. And like you said, it is something that you ask of us, and it's a line that you have to walk as a Christian or a disciple.
Yeah, I like that. And that's another thing. I don't like giving myself a label like that because And the only thing that I would call myself is what he called his disciples.
Yeah.
That is the only title that he and an apostle. An apostle and a
Yeah.
disciple. Those are the only ones that he talked about, you know?
We're all students.
So I just try to be a disciple. People are like, well, what are you, Christian? I'm a disciple. I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ. I try my best to live Christ-like and follow his teaching, but I thoroughly believe that religion is a man-made concept.
Yeah.
That is used for nothing but taxation without representation, land ownership, and theft.
And control.
And control. Big control. I mean, just through all that, you control people like crazy.
You do. And they,
You know?
like, even like some of the churches, I mean, some of these cultures, they're churches, they're not church.
Yeah, Scientology,
Mormonism
Mormons,
or
we're
whatever.
talking to you.
Yeah, whatever, however you say that. And then
We see what you're doing.
yeah, there's that one girl on TikTok that's throwing a lot of light onto the religion. You know, they're always so hush hush. So unless you're that life, you really don't know a lot
Yeah, you
about
really
them.
don't know what they're doing
Or
and
I
everything.
didn't. You know, I didn't anyways, and that might be because I'm ignorant, but I didn't know a lot about that religion, and like that girl opened my eyes a lot. And I don't know her name, and I cannot think of her name at all. But yeah, she's going through a lot of stuff with that, and that's why I say like, not sit there and be like, well, my pastor said this or whatever the leaders of your church call themselves, and a lot of them are just cold. Not all of them, but most of them are not. But you know, like you
Gotta
can't remember God says that people in the cloth could be bad as well, and they could lead down a bad path.
dudes in the cloth strung up Jesus.
Yes, you have to be careful about even the ones that you're
You got to be
listening to.
vigilant. You got to do your due diligence, be vigilant, know who you're around. And that's why he says constantly pray. That's why because I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. This is life. It didn't come with a manual. I didn't get one.
I didn't
Or
get
if I
one
did,
either,
I
man.
fucking lost it. So that sucks.
Oh,
So,
wait, what does the Bible stand for?
oh, basic instructions before leaving Earth.
So there's your manual.
There's
There
the
you go.
manual. There's the manual.
There's your manual. It's the Bible. I mean, and hey, read the words in red. There's your manual.
How I try and live my life, man.
You know, it's so I guess you can say you were given a manual whenever you were, you know, you're given a Bible. Those words in red. There you go. There's your manual of life. That is how you need to live your life. Is just those red words.
And that's if I can give anybody any advice is to constantly seek questions, constantly ask questions, and pray for guidance.
Because everyone is going down a different spiritual
Yep.
journey. So
Yep.
what is good for one person does not mean it's good for you. So
No,
you have
it
to
doesn't.
go through
It
your
doesn't
own.
mean that, and it doesn't mean that that's what God needs you doing right now.
No.
You know, if people are giving you a hard time being like, "Oh, I don't see you over here doing this with us and this okay." Like a lot of people like giving you that in the church, the building. "Oh, I don't see you on Sundays." Okay, well, maybe God wants me doing something else.
Might be something on that time on a Sunday that we're spending time with our family at home, breakfast, having him there in the home with us. Because I mean, I know that's something here is whenever
Mm-hmm.
we're in the we're cooking, we ask
I
God to
always
join
pray for
us.
him to come down and join me.
And I feel like sometimes it makes our meals better. And I don't know, maybe that's just whatever, and it's in my head, but
Playing tricks on you.
whatever, I don't care because whenever I feel like invite him to our home and
Who
uh
cares? It's happy and it's
it is
euphoric and it feels
exactly
good. So who
that's
cares?
the
We're not
journey
hurting
we are
anybody.
going down. And
We're
that's
looking
what
for
makes it
happiness, euphoria,
yeah.
and paradise.
And it's
That's what
what
we're
makes
looking
us
for.
feel close to
Yes, it does.
that's what's
And
and not everything that someone does is gonna be right for you, right for that is the you're going that is what God is using his child closer to him.
as long as they're not hurting anyone or themselves or doing anything sinful, that's where that righteous judgment comes in. Then they're good. After that, then yeah, the judgment stops. You don't need to worry about them. But as long as they're not fitting that criteria, you're good. Let them do their thing. No, they're not hurting anybody. No, people are just people, man. We're all trying to figure this out.
Life is hard, dude. It really is. And like in today's time, I'm sorry. Like I feel like one of the old people is like back in my
Back in
day.
my day.
But for real though, like it is life is so much harder. I feel like nowadays than it was for our parents or our grandparents even, like our generation is hard.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
We have to hear. I mean, I know like back in the day they always had their little cliques. You can go to the hair salon, hear all the gossip, and they had their way of hearing all the gossip, getting into the nosy neighbors. And there's always been people that has to be business. They have to like tell like how to do everything. But now, like I don't even like really post right now. I understand this. And
Yeah, you
again,
need to
like
quit putting
I'm
your foot in your mouth.
huh?
You need to quit putting your foot in your
Well,
mouth.
I mean,
You over here being like, social media is dog shit. I hate the internet. You're on the internet.
I know
Well,
that.
I know, but I mean, it's not dog shit when I'm doing it.
I mean, it's
That's kind of, and then it kind of contradicts everything that you've been saying earlier. Telling people what to do, just let them do their thing.
I mean, it is.
You know,
You have
the
to let people
internet's a
do.
beautiful thing. It provides
It
us,
does. That's what I'm
if we can
saying.
use it correctly, it can provide a sense of community and everything.
Exactly, and that's
And it
what
can
I
bring us
mean
all
by
closer
it.
together.
Exactly.
I think it's beautiful. I love the fucking, I hate trolls,
And that's what
but I
that
love
you
the
do have to
internet.
be careful from. Just because I understand, like, yeah, we're on it, but
But
you
that's
do have
just
to be
life, though.
careful.
That's just life, though. That's why it says the devil is lurking like a hungry lion in the tall grass. So you got to watch out. It's everywhere,
It
and
is.
it's all about personal experience, personal journey, being held responsible for yourself. You know, you have to you have to go on your own journey, and like you were saying, um, how oh shoot, how was I gonna word that? About uh shoot, I lost my train of thought of
Goodness.
how I was gonna word that setting.
Yeah, but everybody does have to go down on their own. Everyone's down something different. And I do think social media can be a very positive way. And
Mm-hmm.
social media did help me with my journey too, because how other people have some of the same questions, you
Right.
know?
Right. And it's great to be a part of that community and find people that are the same like-mindedness of you, or they might answer a question that you've asked yourself in your head and not known, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, because you can connect with people all over the world, So something that is people, I mean, because moving from one side of the United States to the other, see how living on opposite sides that your day to day life is so different than from down south to up north. So things that we did in the south, I don't have to deal with it up here or whatever. So you're getting to go through and learn other aspects of the world,
Yeah.
because people that are in Oregon may be going through something that I can learn from where I am that I don't have to deal with,
Right.
you know?
Right. And it's great to meet your different brothers and sisters and hear their stories. And I'm hoping that that's kind of what it feels like. That's kind of what the shift of people are on right now. They're kind of waking up, seeing what's going on. They're starting to ask questions, get away from the mold, starting to understand that yeah, maybe all these other religions were also putting God in a box, and they were wanting us to view him inside that box. And I think a lot of people are waking up to that, and it's beautiful. And I hope that it continues to happen, because the Man, when you get in a good relationship and you get in your groove and you really feel like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, there's nothing better. There's no better feeling than that. And it's just nice whenever you're moving and grooving and you really feel like you got him like lifting you up and pushing you along and you're really making the right decisions. I'm not going to sit here and say that I do know and that what I'm doing is the truth and what people should do because that's not what I'm preaching at all. I'm saying that you should go to your closet, find what you got to do, find your personal relationship with God because that's what he wants. He doesn't want you to just be basic and go through the motions and be like, "Yep, I'm this." He wants to be involved in your life. He wants you to go out and experience things. Take him with you. Get his insight. Go with your brothers and sisters. Live life, have fun, love, laugh, expand, grow. That's what he wants, like so bad. And that's the way I feel right now. Is at least on my personal journey, that's what he wants me to be doing. You know? And I hope that this can help some people that are struggling a little bit or maybe they're on the fence or they don't really know what to think. I can say this that if like a pastor like did you wrong or doesn't look up to your expectations, remember they're a human just like you. They're a person. They're not going to do what God can do. Remember that.
Yeah, and I have heard a lot of people like, well, why do Christians do this? And I like a really negative around Christian. And if again, like we said, like that's not where we try to live our life as disciples, but that is what people generally do as Christians. And Christians do have to do better as a whole and not be, try to um be a better fisher of men and show what disciple is really about. Because
Mhm.
a lot of people are getting off from the Christian or from the faith just because of how some Christians are. Not everybody who is a Christian or whatever, a disciple,
I
acts like
think we
that.
should not I think we should
I
just knock
know
down the labels of
of
religion.
of yeah,
Of religion. Like what are you like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Do you believe in God? Yeah. Do you believe in Jesus? Yeah. That's all that matters, bro.
right. But if
Like
some
all these religions are just stupid. And that's why you
this
gotta if that's happening to you, please go back. Not to the not to those people. Not to the building, not that. Rebuke them. Rebuke them. That's a righteous judgment. Rebuke them. But go back to him. Go back to him. He's waiting. He's waiting. He just sat down. He's just waiting for you to get back, and he will wait all day for you.
yeah, and don't let those people gave you that gave you that negative opinion about God or the faith or anything like that deter you away from it. And like that, they are just people. They are just fellow humans. They cannot say what God wants or thinks
For you.
for you.
For you. Only
Exactly.
you and God can decide that. Only you and God.
Don't let anybody deter you from it. That's how I feel. Like there is absolutely nobody on this planet Earth that should ever deter you from God because ultimately down and at the end of the day, nobody on this earth matters. The only thing that matters is you and God and your
It
personal
does.
relationship and making sure that you are doing what he has set for you, disciple, the fisher of men. But whatever anybody else thinks of, it does not matter. Nobody has ultimate control over you. Only God. That is. There's only one person ever bow down to, let you,
And that's God.
yeah, have control over you, and that is God, and that is the absolute. So any like nobody should sit there and take that from you, dim that light that you have that God gave for any. I don't care what they say, like Pray. If it's something that's true and that it's something that, like, reflect on it and review your own ways. You're not perfect. None of us
Nope.
are. You're wrong at times. I mean, I'm not talking to you. I'm just saying, like, I'm not
Right,
talking to
right.
Roshi over here.
All
I'm
of us
saying
are
in
wrong.
general,
All of us
all
are
of us.
wrong.
You're wrong. Just know, like,
We're
yeah,
sinful by
you
nature.
sin. I sin. Everybody sin.
We
Like,
sin at every second
so
of every day.
so do not let what somebody else says or think about you take you away thinking like, "Oh, I did this. God's not gonna love me anymore," or "I've done too much and there's no way I'm going to hell anyway." What? No, don't ever just like, "Well, I'm going to hell anyway, so might as well." No, that is you like that's you damning your own self. I feel like
That's just you talking down on
it
yourself, and God
is.
really doesn't like that. Because he
Yeah,
loves you and he wants you to
but it's
think high, he wants you to carry yourself well. Be humble but carry yourself well, and definitely don't talk down on yourself like that. He just he just wants you. He's all love. You know, all these things, all these really a lot of these questions that we have and things that muddy us up and other aspects in life that like leave us in a fog. It's really all just created by us and our other brothers and sisters. You know, if I can leave y'all with that tonight, just know, just work on your relationship with him. What ask him, just put your shield down, lay that pride down, go in that closet and be like, God, what do I do? I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm an idiot. What do I do? Please help me. And I promise your life will start changing for the better. Your relationship with him will start changing. Your mindset will start changing. I just hope that this podcast tonight was able to reach the people that it was supposed to and help the people that it was supposed to and answer the questions that it was supposed to. I know it's not going to do that for everybody. And I know some of the things, if not all of the things I've said, are going to be in disagreement with people. But I know that it's going to reach the ones that it needs and it's going to do what it needs to do. I hope that everybody is okay. I hope that this time of year and these times mixed in with it aren't wearing too deep on you.
and if it is right now, a good thing that helped me during this time was the that TV show Chosen. It really like shows a lot of stuff and it helped guide me and showed me where to start and how being a representation of Jesus of a physical form and how he may have acted in real life helped
Right.
guide
It's
me.
all interpretation and you need to take everything with a grain of salt.
Exactly. Exactly.
But it is a really well done show.
It is.
I love it.
But
It's it's awesome. And if you haven't seen it, I really highly recommend that you go watch it cuz it's got some great acting. It's a dope show. It's super dope. And um shoot, I don't know what I was saying on my closing argument now. What was I saying? Oh, she don't know either. So yeah, I just hope this helped everybody out and that everybody can take something from this. If not, be a little easier on yourself, a little more understanding with yourself, a little more understanding with him. I know it's frustrating. I've been frustrated with him, but we can't give up. We got to keep striving. I hope that this really helped you guys out. That's going to do it for us tonight. We really, really, really appreciate and love all the support, all the love, all the comments, all the following. It's great. I love you guys. If you haven't subbed, or I'm not gonna tell you to. So, but I will tell you, 9:30 a.m. and p.m. every weekday, at least for the winter time for sure. We have our weekday Roshi's Recap podcast. The morning is usually just me, and then at night I am joined by Kimberly, my lovely wife. And then we have great shows, which, like I said, it's kind of like the Jerry Seinfeld show. It's a podcast about nothing. But this is something that is a crucial part in my life, my wife's life, and our children's life. And I know a lot of people are coming back to the faith. A lot of people have questions. A lot of things are getting stirred around. And I just hope that people that are looking, I pray that this helped y'all. And I think that's going to do it for us tonight. Like I said, we love you guys. We really appreciate it. Snipe that sub button. And as always, stay sexy.